What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm here tonight with the review for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. This is season number 5. This is episode 16, and this is the season finale. So next week we get reunion part 1, and the following week we get reunion part 2, and then after that we are moving back to where it all started with Love and Hip Hop New York, which I'm not excited about, but we're gonna do the review of Love and Hip Hop New York. So without further ado, let's get the video started. So I'm gonna actually start this review out with the stuff that really wasn't much in the episode. So it's gonna be with J. Will and K. Michelle. So we're gonna first start out with K. Michelle. So we saw K. Michelle, she was in the studio, and since she's parted ways with her label, she is now working on her 5th album. And this is what I like to see when it comes to K. Michelle. I like to see K. Michelle work on her music and do stuff that's productive to her music instead of being a part of all the bullshit of Love and Hip Hop. She always talking about how she don't want to even come back to Love and Hip Hop, but then she's always back there. But you know what? This whole season, besides the stuff with Little Lyrica and Clutch and Pearls, K. Michelle didn't really do much because the stuff with Paris, that was all Paris is doing. Paris is the reason that everything happened between her this season and K. Michelle. So I put it all on K. Michelle, not K. Michelle, but I put it all on Paris. And then I'm gonna talk about J. Wills. So J. Wills, he made up with Mr. Ray, and Mr. Ray got him this performance at a club, and he's performing as J. Wills. And then you can see out there in the crowd, La Britney's out there, and J. Will invited La Britney there because he wanted to make up with La Britney. And I'm looking at that crowd like, Mona, how much did you pay these extras to fill this place out? Because I can't imagine a lot of people know who J. Wills was to come to an event that he was, performing at. But, it is what it is, and we are going to move on from that to the other stuff in the show. All right, so next I'm going to talk about Apple. So, Apple and that burnt ass, Master Splinter looking ass motherfucker, they are doing a DNA test because if we remember, he told Sean Love that he wasn't sure that he was Apple's dad. And then Sean went and told Apple, and they suggested to get a DNA test. So this is what they're doing today. They're getting a DNA test to see if John is actually Apple's father. So then we see later, they got the test results, and John opens the test results. And, Apple opened the test results, and the results were 0.0% negative that he was her dad. And then this fool gonna sit here and say to her that, he and her mother took a DNA test 32 or 33 years ago, and he knew then that he wasn't Apple's dad. So I'm like, Apple, so why would you go through this whole process of coming into my life 6 years ago, and now you try, we go to the therapy and we do so much other stuff, but you knew all along that you weren't my dad? Like, it looks very opportunistic. If you want me to, if we've been honest, like, you must have knew that this girl was coming on Love and Hip Hop, and he was like, you know what? This is my chance to get on TV, to get some kind of fame, good or bad, and you just use this girl for a storyline, basically. So then, Apple, he talking about, he knew that she needed a dad in her life, but you ain't her daddy, so back the fuck out of her life. Like, that's stupid as fuck to me. So then, Apple calls Sean. Sean comes to pick her up, and Apple is upset. And then, they get in the car, and Sean is like, you know what? If you want to find your daddy, we can do that. But first, you got to work on loving Apple first. And that, I definitely agree with what Sean said right there. Apple has to learn to love Apple first before she can try to put anybody else in her life. So, I like the fact that Sean said that one to her. All right, so then we got Ray J and Princess. They are showing off Little Baby Melody to family and no friends because you didn't see Sonya and her wig there. You didn't see Ray J's daddy there or Brandy Norwood there. So mostly it's just friends that are there. You got Brooke there. You got Marcus. You got Miss Nikki, baby. You got Little Lyrica and Clutch and Pearls there. So then Clutch and Pearls and Ray J, they go sit and talk with each other. So, Clutch and Pearls are just talking to him about, everything that Ray has done, when they had the couples dinner, how he invited Safari there. And Ray J is like, you know what? I was just looking out, but, maybe it was bad timing. Like, my nigga, you think it was bad timing? Like, they came there to tell you guys that they were expecting a baby, and then here you gonna bring Safari, who you said fucked Lyrica, but Safari never said that he fucked her. And then, Clutch and Pearls is like, we can move past this shit. We family, and we just gonna move past it. And then he does tell Ray J that Safari did hit him up, and that Safari wants to meet up with him. So, he gonna sit with Safari and hear him out. And then on the other side, you got Brooke and you got Marcus. They having a little tension between themselves, and I'm sure it's the tension between them because of the whole Amber Diamond situation. So then Miss Nikki, baby, comes up and she sits down with them, and Nikki and Brooke, they are able to apologize to each other for the whole thing that happened out there in Paris with the Never Have I Ever game that they played. They both were able to admit that they were wrong. And then, Brooke wants to ramble off at the mouth about the whole thing that happened with, Amber Diamond and Sean Love coming there to the party, and Sean pulling off Amber's wig and trying to hit Bridget with it. And then, Marcus is just like, why are you sitting here telling everybody our business? Like, what we do ain't got nothing to do with Nikki, which I absolutely 100% agree with Marcus. Y'all's business ain't got shit to do with, what's her name? Nikki. So Marcus gets up and leaves. So then you got Lyrica, Little Lyrica, and not Monique, but Princess come over. First of all, what the fuck was up with that wig that was on Little Lyrica's head? And then that outfit she had on, I'm like, girl, you are pregnant. Why do you have your whole stomach out? But whatever. So they sit down, and Nikki brings up Monique and Princess's beef, and Princess is basically saying since I dropped my baby, it's on site for Monique. If Monique want to fight, we can fight. But Little Lyric is trying to tell her not to fight her, and Nikki is like, hell, I ain't gonna fight nobody because my nose is fake. So if you hit me in my nose, that bitch is gonna break, and I'm gonna have to go get a new nose. So then you got Princess. She's talking to Brooke, telling Brooke that she feels like Brooke should apologize to Little Lyrica, and Brooke is like, no, I'm not gonna apologize to her because I've already apologized to her once. And Little Lyric is in her feelings like, what, if Brooke was my real friend, yeah, you've apologized once, but you should apologize again. And I'm, despite how I feel about Brooke's messy ass, I actually did agree with Brooke. Like, nigga, if I've apologized to you once, I'm not gonna keep kissing your ass and apologizing to you over and over and over again. When I apologized to you the first time, it was sincere. I don't know if it was sincere on Brooke's part, but just saying. When I apologized to you the first time, I was sincere, and you want me to, and you accepted my apology. I'm not saying that that happened, but if you accept my apology, but then we get in front of our group of friends and you want me to apologize to you again, like, fuck no. Like, I've already done it once. I'm not about to sit here and apologize to you for a second time just to, save face with people that I don't really 100% give a fuck about them knowing that I apologize to you. So I understood where Brooke was coming from just a little. All right, so then we get to meet up with Safari and Clutch and Pearls. So basically they meet up, and Clutch and Pearls ask Safari, did he ever sleep with Little Lyrica? He says no, that he never slept with her. And then, he was like, well, why did Ray go around telling people that you had sex with my wife? And Safari is like, what? Ray must have misconstrued what I said. And that's how this whole shit got, messed around. And I'm like, nah, motherfucker, y'all all use this as a storyline. Like, this was a storyline for y'all the entire season. Like, I didn't believe it from the beginning because I'm like, something just don't make sense when it comes to this whole storyline. So then, they keep talking. He did ask him, did he send Little Lyrica pictures? He says, no, I never sent her any pictures. And then he was like, well, what about the video? And he was like, well, I don't really remember about that. And, he also said that when it came down to him and Little Lyrica texting, it was always about music. And then, she would tell him about how, Clutch and Pearls would be in the studio late at night. And I'm like, but why? First of all, here's my thing with that. Why are you going to tell another man that your husband is working late nights in the studio? Like, that's kind of mind-boggling to me that you're going to sit here and tell a man that your husband is working late nights in the studio. But you can clearly tell that Little Lyrica ain't got no motherfucking friends, just like Princess. Birds of a feather flock together, and they have no motherfucking friends with each other. So, once they all, finish talking, Clutch and Pearls basically tell Safari that, what, man, I just can't really fuck with you right now. And Safari's like, what, it is what it is. he gets up and he leaves. So then not Safari, but Clutch and Pearls, he goes home to little Lyrica, and she's sitting there and she's eating some ice cream. And, he's telling little Lyrica about his conversation with Safari. He was like, he said he didn't send you any, that y'all never had sex. She was like, I told you that. But he says he didn't really, remember about sending you the videos. And then, he's talking about how, he got his friends basically telling him to question his wife, which if you believe that your wife is telling you the truth, you shouldn't have to let your friends shouldn't be able to make you question your wife. If you have concrete proof that she never cheated, then there's no reason for you to question her. And then, she starts to break down crying, talking about how he told his family that, he was leaving and he was never coming back. He took the dog, he took his clothes, and how he just wasn't coming back. And, he did tell little Lyrica that, she asked him, did he want a DNA test? He paused and he hesitated for a little bit, but then he does say, yes, that I want a DNA test. And, she gets in her feelings. She's like, man, I didn't expect you to say nothing like that. But, you got to kind of expect it. If people are going around saying that you slept with this dude and that dude, and then, even Patrice saying that you slept with your, did something with your ex, like, you can't really be 100% mad at him if people are saying it to him. Like, what is he to think and believe? So, I can see both sides of the spectrum when it comes to Little Lyrica and both Clutch and Pearl. So, it is what it is with those two. All right, so then I'm going to talk about Mama Dap. So, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is up with her wigs and this big ass nose earring that she got in her nose. Like, I could never put something that big in my nose. Like, I like my little nose ring that I got. I'm probably going to go a little bit bigger, not that much bigger. Actually, I'm probably going to do a hoop and another little, a little bone, a little thing that should stick in there. But nothing near as big as she got in her motherfucking nose. So, she's telling Clutch and Pearls about, when she went dress shopping with, Big L and Patrice, and how Patrice had the text messages about, from Clutch and Pearls, talking about Little Lyrica messing with her ex and everybody. And she's still questioning that. And he was, questioning why he still wants to be with her, but that's his wife. So, he's just like, what, mama, I don't need you questioning, my wife and, what we doing. And, she asked him what they still going through with the vow renewal. He said, yes, we are still going through with it. And, she tells him how Big L doesn't want Patrice nor his brother at the wedding. And he actually agreed with Big L, because he says that Patrice held on to those text messages and she was being messy as fuck, which that is true. She was being messy as fuck. And she was like, well, if you don't invite Patrice, what about your brother? He was like, well, that's his wife, and if she can't come and he don't come, then it is what it is. And he basically tells mama, shit, I'm disinviting you too. I'm like, well, god damn. Like, I guess I get it, because because she's still sitting here talking about DNA tests and DNA tests. If your son has let it go, then why don't you let it go? Like, I don't get that. And then she's talking about family first. And I'm like, that is true, family first, but Lyrica is his family. Like, that's his wife and that's his child that she's carrying. So that's his family. You guys are still, you guys are his family. You guys are going to always be his family, but that's his main family that's coming first now. So for her to say that, family first and his wife second, like, that is stupid as fuck. All right, so then we got this scene where Ray, Rockstar, and Safari are meeting up with each other. So, Safari comes in and he's talking to Ray. And, he's telling Ray how when he met up with Clutch and Pearls, he told him that he never had sex with Little Lyrica. But you got Rockstar on the other side talking about how he fucked her and how her titties were doing this and this and that. And I'm just like, nigga, why are you sitting here lying on your dick? Like, I do not believe for 1 second that Lyrica fucks Rockstar. Can't pay me to believe it. So, Ray J is like, what, Safari, you told me that you slept with her. He said, no. He said, I told you that I agreed to the, about the text messages, but I never said that I slept with him. But again, Rockstar over there talking about how, when he had met up with Lyrica, that she was telling him about Safari. And I'm like, nigga, please shut up, looking like Bane from Batman. Shut the fuck up. So, he then Safari tells him, I've been hearing that you've been going around town talking about DNA test this and DNA testing. Talking about, yeah, something like Maury. And, Ray J still sitting here trying to place the blame solely on Safari. And I'm like, no, nigga, your big ass mouth is what got you into this mess. Like, Safari, and it was a game of semantics. When you and Safari met up, you tried to trick Safari into it, but Safari never said yes, nor did he say no. So you ran with that shit and talking about he slept with her. Like, you the one that made this whole situation. You made this situation out of nothing. And like I said, this has been a whole big fucking storyline for the Bentleys and Safari. Like, mostly the Bentleys, this has been a storyline for them that they ran through with the whole season. And I'm like, y'all are the Kirk and Rashida of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, because y'all have completely sold out y'all marriage and made yourselves look completely foolish and completely stupid as fuck. All right, y'all. So now we get to the vow renewal ceremony. So, you got Jay Will there, you got LaBrittany there, you got Miss Nikki Baby, you got Princess there, you got Paris there, you got Marcus there, pretty much the whole fucking crew there. So, you see Paris, she's talking to Nikki, and then she's looking at Nikki, but then she sees Marcus in the background. And that's when she decides to call or text Booby to drop a pin on Marcus. And I'm like, Paris, how fucking messy do you have to be? Like what the fuck? Like, you didn't have to sit there and do this shit. But I guess Mona told you to call him, to fake call him and tell him where Marcus was to drop a quote pin. But whatever. So then we see Nikki Baby. She goes over there to where LaBrittany and Jay Will are. And she asks them how they made up with each other, and they said yes. And then LaBrittany lets us know that, she and Little Lyrica made up with one another, and Little Lyrica invited her over to to this vow renewal ceremony. And then, Jay Will, he notices Princess in the background, and he, quote, drops a pin to Moniece where Princess is. So then we get the vow renewal ceremony started. Bitch, Big L was over there singing for her lifetime about this was her moment to shine. Like, bitch, I'm finna sing to the heavens. But, she did sound good. So then we get Little Lyrica and Clutch and Pearls. They are walking down the aisle. And then I noticed Clutch and Pearls. He got on his fucking suit with some Gucci tennis shoes. I'm like, how tacky can a nigga be to wear some tennis shoes with a motherfucking suit? So they get up there and, they start saying some words to each other. And, Clutch and Pearls, he speaks and he's telling Little Lyrica how he wants to be with her forever. And then out of nowhere she go, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I was confused for a whole minute listening to her cry. Like, I was like, oh my God, is she finna have a baby? What's she about to do? So, that was it for the vow renewal ceremony. It was really cute. So then, the pins are starting to show up. So first we get Moniece there. She and Princess, they start to go at it with each other. Moniece is talking about how I don't throw the first hit. I don't throw the first hit. And then you got Princess over there throwing glasses at her and shit. And then, Moniece eventually got tired of that bullshit of them glasses flying at him. So Moniece gets her ass up and goes and throw the whole motherfucking cake at Princess. I'm like, and it hit the security right on the back. And I'm like, oh no, not the cake. Not the cake. Like, I'm just sitting here like, why? What did the cake do to you? Like, come on, Mo. What did the cake do to you? So then, they going back and forth with each other. And security is right there like, y'all do realize them big ass, burly ass security are not going to let y'all get to each other, but whatever. So then the next pin is showing up. Booby, he shows up. He wants to have a conversation with Marcus. But when Marcus sees him, Marcus don't want to have a conversation. Marcus wants to fight Booby. And Booby's like, you know what, my nigga, I will, fuck you up. I will do this and this and that to you. So Marcus, like the Incredible Hulk, trying to get over there to Booby, and security's breaking, and security ain't letting him get over there. And I'm like, Marcus, are you tired? Because you did all this shit and you still didn't get to that motherfucker. Like, you didn't even you trying to make a beeline to him, but you didn't even get halfway close to him. All right, so now we are at the closing remarks. So we got Little Lyrica and Clutch and Pearls, and basically to sum them up, they have forgiven each other. They're going to be stronger than they were before. They're going to work on their marriage, and they're also going to try to raise their child together. Then we got Paris. I guess Paris, she name dropping people: Meek Mills, Kimberly, Keisha Cole, whoever else the fuck she named. So I'm guessing what it is for Paris is she's coming out of the shadow and being her own star. And then, we see her getting some food. I'm like, you big bitch. No offense to anybody, because I'm a big bitch myself. Although I'm a little bitch, but I'm a little big bitch who loves to eat. And, she eating her food. And then she's signing an autograph. And I'm like, Mono, how much did you pay that woman to take that autograph that she looked like she about to take and throw it in the motherfucking trash can? But whatever. So then we got Ray and Princess. I'm guessing that they just gonna focus on Little Melody. Good with that. And then, Moniece, she's talking about, friendships, how, she's tried to help her friends this year, but they tried to, deflect on her from their own bullshit, i.e. Tierra. And, she's not sure where things are gonna go between her and AD, but she is working on her music. And I'm like, okay, Moniece. And then we got Apple, Apple, with the help of Clutch and Pearls and Sean, she went from dancing on the stage to now singing on the stage. And, that's pretty much it for Apple. And then we got Brooke. She and Marcus, they are in limbo right now. And, they still are in communication with each other because you see Marcus, he in a club with another girl, flirting with her. But then Brooke calls him and it says Baby Brooke with a ring on the side of it. I'm like, what the fuck? Who gives a fuck? And last but not least, Tierra motherfucking Marie. First of all, I want to say this. Anybody out there, if you see Mona, fuck that bitch up on sight, because Tierra come at us with the same bullshit every season. So this season, she's talking about how she learned so much. I'm like, girl, you ain't learned a motherfucking thing, because if you did, them wigs would look better. Number two, she's talking about how she's working on her music. And much like Helen Keller, my nigga, we ain't heard it. Tierra says that shit every fucking season. Like, what the fuck? I know last season she came out with that single, which you can't even find it on iTunes anymore, but Tierra gonna keep forever come at us with the fuck shit and the bullshit. But that was Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. This has been actually a really good season. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed reviewing this from beginning to end. Next week is the reunion part 1. And then, like I said earlier, reunion part 1, reunion part 2. And we move on to Love and Hip Hop New York. And I'm pretty sure Love and Hip Hop Miami is going to be right behind Love and Hip Hop New York. So, like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later on Wednesday for Real Housewives of Dallas and Greenleaf.